I got one for you. So the other day we were talking about skin whitening cream. And I was thinking about this after we left. And first off, let me go ahead real fast. Remember who's the Nigerian that was up here? You, right? You're Nigerian? So I brought you up here and I was asking you about skin whitening cream and you didn't really know and right? Am I right? Skin whitening? Nigeria is 190 million people. It's estimated 70 million Nigerians out of 190 use skin whitening cream. That's why I'm surprised. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? What do you mean? You're not, this conversation, you don't know that? 70 million people. That's almost 40% of the population. It's huge. And so this idea that this is all new to all of us. It's we don't even have ways to understand this stuff. So I come back to skin whitening cream, and I'm like, nobody holds anybody. You take a dark-skinned person with darkly pigmented skin, so here we are, her, this half of her, right? This half of her. And somewhere you get a message to put skin whitening cream on, okay? You get a message. These people, dude, 70 million people in Nigeria. Come on, man. Some of these are babies. So you got another 30,000 young infants. So, you only got 90 million people realistically who aren't using it. Why? What leads people to use skin whitening cream? What leads black, dark-skinned people to use skin whitening cream? What? Is it choice? Is it down here? Are people just making the choice? Are 70 million people in Nigeria just saying yeah, we are a black society in Western Africa, black-led, white people are not dominating our world anymore. This is all about us. We have our own music industry. We have our own arts industry. We have our own television industry, our own movie industry. We have everything we need. And yet, nah, man, what we need is lighter skin. What is that? Is it choice? Yeah, we're just choosing to have light skin because it's kind of cool. You know what I mean? It's just beautiful. Or is something else going on? It's what is that? Or is it both? What is it? So, skin whitening cream, what is that? Why do people do it? Why would you do that? To think that it's only this and there's no choice involved would be stupid. What? Fucking the white people? What Americans are holding all dark-skinned people down? We got them in headlocks here and we're rubbing skin whitening cream all over your faces? It's no, we're not doing that. It's not happening. That would be just stupid to make that argument. And then equally down here to say nah, man, you know what I mean? Of all the things you can kind of do, you just we were thinking, we just kind of want to change it up a little bit. So we could actually put this cream on to make us darker, which would be really kind of cool too. You know what I mean? Hey, let's all just get really dark because that's cool. Or we could just put this cream on to make us lighter. So we'll just choose the lightning cream. Why not? It's a choice. Go dark, go light. Who cares? I don't really know. It's just a choice. I'm just making a choice, right? And yet, the whole world's going toward whitening. Who's using darkening? It's whitening. So therefore, you can't go there. That would be a dumb argument to make. And you can't go here to say no one's making a choice at all, because clearly that's not the case. So somehow the two are working together. You know what I mean? You never take choice out of the equation, ever.
I would just be interested to hear your argument on why that would be a function of chance.
Why it would be a function of chance?
People deciding to make their skin.
Yeah, because we live so we live in a system that up and down. Well, where I was last weekend, there were a few black people. It was almost all white. We live in a racialized world. We live in a racialized society. Like the United States is built on a racialized system of color and privilege, right? Like if you had dark skin, you just inherently are less privileged by the nature of either A, you're Native American, and so you have no value whatsoever, or B, you're either a slave or potentially a slave, and if you're not a slave, then you got to be like a unique case. Because there were black people in the U.S. in the days of slavery who owned slaves, right? But very few. I mean, so it's a racialized system. White people were poor. The vast majority of white people in the early days were poor. But you could be poor, but if you were black, you were in a particular place. So it's a racialized system. It still is. We haven't gotten out of it. It's much less racialized than it ever was. Are you kidding me? Look around. There are black people in this room. We're going to talk about this. There are black people in this room whose families, black and brown people in this room, whose families could buy and sell half the white population in this room because they have so much money. And you don't even know it, right? You look, when we talk about a racialized system, that assumes that, each black person or each brown person is poor. Come on, man, are you kidding me? Like, no, that's not it. But it's a racialized system whereby there's a certain privilege that comes with skin color. Privilege, not privilege in a holistic way, because me having white skin wasn't privileged last weekend. I'm still poor compared to these folks. I mean, I'm rich if I go to Haiti, or if I go to rural West Virginia, but here I'm poor. And so, you see what I mean? It's still a system. So it benefits people to just have lighter skin. Lighter skin's more beautiful. It's portrayed as more beautiful. Lighter skin is portrayed as, you're less likely to have. Look, if you go for a job interview, you take two black people and they're exactly the same, the lighter skinned person is going to get treated better than the darker skinned person. We know this across the board. Police are less likely to they're going to treat lighter skinned people, I don't mean white people, I mean lighter skin, like brown people, better than dark brown people. Well, across the board, we see that. And so that's what I mean about kind of the racialized. So it's like ingrained historically to pass. So like the whole passing thing, I'm going to give you one more thing, right? So all throughout slavery, so what we see this blending of white blood and black blood, and a lot of it is just slave owners and white people in general taking liberties with black women, and then having children who are mulatto or who are both. And sometimes the children are really light skinned, and then the goal is to have your child pass as white. Why is that? Because if they pass as white, then what's going to come along with that are certain privileges. That is part of an interracialized system. So it's like we've got hundreds of years of building a racialized power system. And so it doesn't strike me that people all around the world would want to have lighter skin. That's what we see. That's the standard of beauty. Everywhere we see that. It's a standard. whether I go to Colombia or, I was in Iraq, or I go to, when I'm in Ethiopia, or when I was when I'm in the Philippines, wherever I am, and I go and I see those beauty magazines, it's always people with lighter skin. It just is. That's the standard. So it makes sense that any schmuck out there in the world like me, if I have darker skin, I'm going to wish it was a little bit lighter because that's what I've been born into. Like, for example, just like you, bro. If I took you as a child, if all you ever knew was, you know what? Are you straight? I know you're not. You're just asking the question, so I'm not sorry. So here's my final answer. This is awesome. This is an awesome example, dude. If I took you as a child and all you ever knew was the following, because you're straight, the ideal woman, all you ever knew and all you ever saw was the ideal woman was 4 feet 2 inches tall, 200 pounds, and completely flat-chested. Okay? That's all you ever saw. And women all around you were trying to be 4 feet 2 inches tall, 200 pounds, and getting rid of their breasts. having breast removal surgery, and that's all you ever saw. And that's what people told you, and that was in the media, and that was in magazines. Today, you would think, oh, look at her. Yo, she's really hot. To the girl, the young woman who's 4 foot 2 inches tall, 200 pounds, and flat-chested, you'd be saying like, yeah, she's really hot. That's how it is, my friends, which makes it so silly that we try to be something other than what we are, or that we think in these standards of beauty that we choose them. We don't choose them. This is like the dumbest thing in the world. It's all been imposed on us, standards of beauty.